Hello dear student, this is NEELAM JOSHI, Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and in the continuation of data structure lectures, today we will going to discuss about algorithm and its specification, and the subject code of data structure is CS303. And here are the outlines which we will cover in today's video, in which prerequisites of topic, then problem objective, then we will discuss about algorithm and the criteria of algorithm, and we will discuss about steps for studying algorithm, and then algorithm specification and pseudocode convention, and one example related with algorithm structure, then learning outcome and references. So here prerequisites of the topic. According to my previous video, you all know that what is the means of data and information, and what is actually the means of data structure, various types of data structure. And here I just want to mention that before discussing and learning about algorithm in detail, you should have knowledge about the operations on data structures, that what is the means of traversing and searching, deletion and insertion, merging and sorting, etc. Here I just want to recall you that traversing is used to accessing each record exactly one, so that certain items in the record may be processed. Okay. And searching we use for finding the location of the record with a given key value, or finding the location of all record which satisfy one or more condition. And insertion is basically adding a new record to the structure facility, and deletion is just removing a record from the data structure. And when we talk about merging, then merging is basically used as combining the records in two different sorted files into a single sorted file. And sorting is just used as the arrangement of the record in some specific order, for example alphabetically, and means in ascending or descending order. Okay, so you should have knowledge about all these aspects before learning about algorithm. So let's move on to the problem objective. So here in today's video lecture, the main focus is on what is the means of algorithm, and then we will understand that study of algorithm which is based on specific factors, and then pseudocode conventions. Okay, so first of all, what is algorithm? Algorithm is just referred as a method that can be used by computer for the solution of a problem. Basically, algorithm is a step-by-step procedure, okay, which is generally used to define a set of instruction which is executed in a certain order to get the desired output, as well as it holds a finite set of instruction that, if followed, accomplishes a particular task. Generally, algorithm is created as a independent of underlying languages, and also it is a well-defined list of steps for solving a particular problem. Okay, and one major purpose of using algorithm is to develop efficient steps for creation of algorithm for the processing of our data. And here the time and space, it uses two major measures of the efficiency of an algorithm. That means the complexity of algorithm is the function which gives the running time or space time in terms of the input size, and this is generally known as the time complexity and space complexity. And in my coming video we will discuss in detail about what is actually the means of time and space complexity, and how can we derive these complexity with the help of some example. Okay, so today we will just focus on algorithm, and whenever we talk about data structure, then algorithm is used in different categories, like in searching, where algorithm is used to search an item into a data structure, and also we need algorithm for sorting, means here algorithm is used to sort item in a certain order, and for insertion, algorithm is used to insert item in a data structure, and for updation, here it update an existing item in data structure, and deletion, when where algorithm is used to delete an existing item from the particular data structure. So in this way we will just define how the algorithm is used in different aspects of data structure and data structure operations. Now, criteria of algorithm. Here the first criteria is input. Basically, input is used as an algorithm which shows either 0 or more well defined input. Okay, next one is output. An algorithm should have one or more well defined output, and it should match the desired output according to the input. As well as here the next one is finiteness and definiteness. Basically here the means is that any algorithm is composed of finite sets of steps, okay, and each of which may require one or more operation, and here the possibility of computer carrying out these operations necessitate that certain constraint be placed on the type of operations and algorithm which can include. For example, we can say that each operation must be definite. That means it must be perfectly clear what should be done. Okay, and here this effectiveness is just correlated with these 2 points, finiteness and definiteness, in the way where effectiveness of each step must be shows that at least it can be done by using a efficient manner, means the resultant of any algorithm creation is effective, like if by a person using pencil and paper for doing some algorithmic structure creation, and in the form of finite amount of time. So basically here the performing arithmetic on integer is used as an effective operation, but arithmetic with real number is not possible here, since some values may be expressible only by infinitely long decimal expansions. So for this purpose we are just using these particular criteria for these type of complex problem in the form of finiteness and definiteness and effectiveness. Okay, and rather than these criteria, it should be unambiguous, means here algorithm should be clear. Each of the step either in the form of input or output, it should be clear and must lead to only one meaning. Okay, as well as algorithm is based on independency, means algorithm should have step by step direction which should be independent of any programming language. So in this way we are just defining the whole criteria. Now, algorithmic study. Here the first study is based on how to devise algorithm. Basically here the act of creating an algorithm is an art which may never be fully automated, means algorithmic designing is just uses some development process in some specific steps, like any algorithm having in a step 1 that it obtain a description of the problem, and this step is much more difficult than it appears, and in the second step it analyze the actual problem behind creating this algorithm. Okay, then the next step is develop a high level algorithm. Then after this we refine the algorithm by adding more detail about the procedures and functions, and finally we review the algorithm. So these are the steps which basically participate in the first step, which is how to devise algorithm. Now the next study is based on how to validate algorithm. Here, in this phase, once an algorithm is designed or devised, it is necessary to show that it computes the correct answer for all possible legal inputs. So, for this purpose, we using algorithm validation process. Here the algorithm need not yet be expressed as a program, because it is sufficient to state it in any precise way. And basically here the purpose of validation is to assure us that this algorithm will work correctly independent of the issues concerning the programming language it will eventually be written in. So we can say that once the validity of the method has been shown, a program can be written, and a second phase begins here. And generally this phase is referred as a program proving, or sometime it is known as a program verification. And here a proof of correctness required, because the solution is stated into two forms, where the first form is usually as a program which is annotated by a set of assertions about the input and output variables of the program, and the second form is generally called as a specification phase, and this may also be expressed in the predicate calculus. So basically a proof consists in showing that these two forms are equivalent in that for every given legal input they describe the same output. Okay, and here a complete proof of program correctness required that each statement of the programming language be precisely defined and that all basic operation be proved correct. Okay, after that we just do the study of how to analyze algorithm. Okay, here this field is generally also known as the analysis of algorithm, because algorithm is executed and it makes use of the computer center processing unit to perform operations, and it uses memory to hold the program and its data. So basically here whenever we are doing analysis, then analysis of algorithm is generally referred to the process of determining how much computing time and storage an algorithm will require. This is again known as the name of time complexity and space complexity, as I already mentioned. So basically this area is a challenging one because here we need great mathematical skills. Okay, and one important result of doing analysis is to allow one to make quantitative judgments about the value of one algorithm over another. Now the next phase is of algorithmic study is based on how to test a program. This is very important phase, okay, because designing, analyzing, coding is just a part of creation of anything, but it should be correct if it is tested and fulfill all the parameters required. Okay, so here testing a program really consists of debugging and profiling, where debugging is the process of executing program on sample data sets to determine if faulty results occur. Okay, and if so, to correct them. That is the means of debugging. That means if any error occur, then we have to correct this type of error. Okay, and when we talk about proof of correctness, then here a proof of correctness is much more valuable than 1,000 tests, since it guarantees that the program will work correctly for all the possible input. And whenever we talk about profiling, then profiling is the process of executing a correct program on data sets and measuring the time and space it takes to compute the result. So in this way we will apply various types of testing procedure to test our program and data in an efficient way. Now, algorithmic specification. Basically, algorithm is specified by using several techniques, in which here I have mentioned three techniques. Like the first one is why using a natural language, and this natural language generally described in the form of English language. Okay, and we will also specify algorithm in the form of graphical representation, and here we will solve some small and simple problem on the basis of this graphical representation, and we will discuss these problem in the form of trees and graph in my further videos. And next one is pseudocode conventions. These pseudocode convention is generally specify all types of problem. So in today's lecture we will discuss about these pseudocode conventions in detail. So here first of all, what is actually the means of pseudocode? So here these pseudocode is rules to represent an algorithm, and basically the pseudocode notation try to obey modern programming guidelines and avoiding global side effect, and to clearly indicate what kind of an effect the algorithm has in the system. And we have adopted the functional programming paradigm, where an algorithm is described as a function that does not mutate its actual parameters and side effects which are allowed in the local structure within a function. As well as we can say that pseudocode is just a term which is used often in a programming and algorithm based field, where it is a methodology that allows the programmer to represent the implementation of an algorithm. This is just a simple definition of pseudocode, because simply we can say that it is the cooked up representation of an algorithm, and algorithms are represented with the help of these pseudocode, as they can be interpreted by programmer no matter what their programming background or knowledge is. And pseudocode, as the name suggests, it is false code or a representation of code which can be understood by even some specific school level programming knowledge. So pseudocode simply an implementation of algorithm in the form of annotations and syntax. Okay, so here the first convention is based on comments, and here you can see that in this diagram comment is just represented by using these double slash. Here you know that each step may contain a comment in brackets, because you are the student of third sem, and you very well know about how to write C and C++ program, and how to write comments for these languages. So here it includes in the form of each step which may contain a comment in a bracket which indicates the main purpose of the step, and the comment will usually appear at the beginning or the end of the steps. Okay, now the next one is blocks. Basically block means what? Blocks is just show the particular area of performing any functionality. So for this purpose, for the separation of these blocks, we are just using these curly bracket, and for the starting we are just using the first one curly bracket, and for the ending we are using this ending curly bracket. Okay, next one is identifier. Here all identifier begins with a letter, and the data types of variables are not explicitly declared here, and the type will be clear from the context. Whether a variable is global or local to a procedure will also be evident from the context. So for this purpose we are using these identifier in the form of data types like integer, float, characters, booleans, etc. Now the next one is assigning a value. Basically, assigning a value means our assignment statement will use the proper notation to show the assignment. Here assignment of value to variable is done using the assignment statement, which is generally represented as a variable name and then equal to. This equal to is generally used by initiating of with the colon and then equal to sign. This is the form of notation of this assignment statement. And then expression. Here this assignment is generally used as, for example, we just take the value max, which is a variable, and then we use equals to sign, and then in the expression we just write down data. So here this particular assignment is just show the value data which is used to max. Okay, next one is Boolean values. Here logical operators like and, or, and not, and the relational operator is less than equals to, slash. This is generally used for division, and greater than equal to are used. So basically the Boolean value is used to just represented the logical and relational operation between variables and numbers associated with it. Next one is multidimensional arrays. Here when we use multidimensional array, then elements of multidimensional array are accessed by using these brackets. Okay, here array indicate the starting from the 0. Sometimes it is also referred as a 1, depending on the program which we are in which we are using either 0 or 1 for showing the starting of array. Okay, and here these brackets is generally used to put the value of array in a proper manner. Now the next one is loops. Loops again is used for the separation of data and procedures. So here the first one is a while loop. Whenever we are using while loop when creating any type of algorithm, then the structure we follow like while, then we have to mention condition here, then do. Okay, then we will insert statement started from 1 to n, which is included in these blocks like with the help of these curly bracket. Next is for loop, and the syntax for loop is just write here in the as for variable is equals to value 1. Here we have to put value 1 which we are which we use when we create our algorithm, then 2, then value 2, then step, and here we have to mention the steps, and then do, and again here in the curly bracket statement 1 to statement n. Next, repeat until loop. Here the syntax of repeat until loop is just like we have to mention that repeat, then we write down all the statement here in the form of statement 1 to statement n, and then we have to mention until, and with until we just use specific condition. Okay, now the next one is conditional statement. So here conditional statement generally show the situation where we have to follow either this or that. So here for first one is indicated as if statement. So here the syntax is follows as if, then we have to mention condition here, then and then after again the condition for then statement. Okay, the second conditional statement for if is used as if then else statement. So here we have to follow the syntax like if, then here we put the conditions, then we have to write down then statement 1, otherwise in the else case we have to write down the statement 2. Now the next is case statement. So here you all know that cases generally represented the situation where we have so many types of phases or in the form of case, and we have to choose only one case or two case depend upon the programming language and application use. So here this the syntax for case statement is just represented as we have to write down here case, then curly bracket, and then we have to write down the conditions and statement in one line, and then if there are so many condition and statement up to nth, else, and then statement n plus 1, and finally curly bracket close. Now next one is input and output. Basically data may be input and assigned to variable by means of read statement here, and for this purpose we are just using read and then variable name. Similarly, message placed in quotation mark and data in variable may be output via means of just write and print statement with using simply write down write and then message or variable name. So in this way we are just defining these input and output. And then procedure. Basically the term procedure will be used for an independent algorithm module which solves a particular problem, and there is only one type of procedure followed in these pseudocode convention, that is algorithm. So here it indicated as means the syntax of writing procedures as algorithm name, then if there is parameter, then in the bracket we have to mention the parameter list. So in this way the whole pseudocode conventions are defined. Now this is simply the example of the algorithm, in which here it is just represented that how we write algorithm by using these pseudocode convention. So simply first of all according to the procedure we are just writing the name of algorithm as, first of all we should write algorithm, then the name of algorithm which is max, and here A is represented the array of numbers and n is the max element of this algorithm. Here in the comment box I have just write A is an array of size n. Then block shows the curly bracket condition which is started from this curly bracket, and there and then here we have to find out the result is equals to A1, and then we using the loop statement as for I is equals to 2 to n, then if condition in the form of if AI is greater than result, then result is equals to AI. Okay, and then we have to return the value of result and finally close with curly bracket. So this example just I'm using to show that how we will write any algorithm for any program or for any type of programming structure. So just use the pseudo convention to write down these type of algorithm, we will discuss about lot of algorithm for sorting, searching and various types of operation which we have already discussed. Now this is the assignment which is based on my today's video. So here in this assignment the first question is based on given 3 data items and write an algorithm in pseudocode convention to find the greatest among them. and then write the swapping of two numbers without third variable algorithm in pseudocode convention. Okay, and then learning outcome of today's video. So in today's video we will discuss lot about algorithm and criteria of algorithm, and we have learnt about the analyzing and designing of algorithmic study, that how algorithm is designed and then analyzed and tested by using specific features and functionalities. And also we learnt about various types of pseudocode conventions for designing our algorithm. So as a conclusion, I just want to mention here that you all know that a computer program is just a collection of instructions which is used to perform a specific task, and for this a computer program may need to store data, retrieve data, and perform computational functions on the data. That's why a data structure is named location is used, that can be generally used to store and organize data, and here algorithm is used in the form of collections of steps to solve a particular problem. Okay, and also here I just want to conclude that for the creation of any good algorithm, we just have to specify input and output in a precise way, and we also follow each step in the algorithm in a clear and unambiguous way, as well as algorithm should be most effective in a different way to solve different types of problem, as well as algorithm is used which included computer code, and instead the algorithm should be written in such a way that it can be used in a different programming language. We just follow the instructions like finiteness, definiteness, and effectiveness for the creation of good quality algorithm. And these are the shallow point which I have used, and here are the references, in which the first one is Data Structure and Algorithm by Aho Hofmann, Hofcroft and Ullman, and the second one is Data Structure Using C by Rima Tareja. Thank you so much to all of you.